OC Financial Media presents, in association with CHL Mortgage, as heard on KTLK AM1150, from LA to Orange County.
Your host, Dino Katsiametis.
It's about your real estate. It's about your money. From your estate to real estate, it's Money Matters with Dino.
Welcome back to Money Matters with Dino. If you have any questions at all, and it's either directed towards me for a real estate need or a tax need, an insurance need, a legal need, whatever that situation is, I want you to write this number down and keep it because I'm always going to be here for you. Phone number is 949-720-1616. That's 949-720-1616. This next segment is brought to you by Reverse Mortgage Educators. And if you're listening right now, and if you're over 62 years of age, or if you have a parent or grandparent who's over 62 years of age and is having a financial difficulty in life, meaning you're living off of Social Security or whatever it be, and it's not enough, and you're struggling, and you're finding yourself running out of money before the end of the month, before that next Social Security check comes, do yourself a favor. If you own a property, look into getting a reverse mortgage. I was not a believer in them for a long time, but only because I wasn't educated about them. You're not going to be forced into doing anything, but do yourself a favor and become educated because it is a financial solution that could help you for the remainder of your life. Reverse Mortgage Educators, they have been on the show a few times, and I love these guys. They're fantastic, and they actually help a lot of people and have changed lives. So don't forget to look them up, Reverse Mortgage Educators. So before we get started with our expert panel, I also want to introduce the new thing we're doing over here at Money Matters. And if you want to get a true value of your home, instead of going online and checking through all this free stuff, do yourself a favor, come to us. I have real people, not algorithms on these websites. There's real people that are going to do some research and actually get back to you. And all you have to do is text the word appraisal and your address to 313131. That's text the word appraisal and your address to 313131. And we will have somebody get back to you typically within 24 hours, but if we go a little longer, give us a break. Anyway, I want to introduce my expert panel here today because we're going to be talking about the 5 steps to reactivating your life. And I have credit repair expert Corey Goldstein from FixMyReport.com. Corey's been on the show a few times now and has also been somebody I've done business with for quite some time. He has helped many of my clients. And I want to say that if you have little issues, right, that are affecting you, either keeping you from qualifying for the best interest rate when you go buy a car, or you're paying 30% interest rate on your credit cards, guys, you don't have to do much. I mean, you just have to have an action step to make your life better, and that means just taking a step forward to do that. And Corey Goldstein is one of these guys that you need to be in touch with if you have any kind of credit issues. Corey, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dino. Thanks for having me.
Tell us quickly, and you're a little long-winded at times, and I know you well enough now that I can say that, so don't take offense. But tell us quickly, because we got to get going, what it is you do.
I provide solutions for people that are blocked around getting what they want to accomplish. So if they are trying to get financed and they can't, or they're a realtor, a loan officer, and they're trying to help somebody with a new loan and they can't, I remove those blockages permanently so they can qualify.
And I'll give you a quick example of something that we worked on recently. I had a client who had a credit score under 680. And the difference between being under 680 and over 680 was a 1/4 point in interest rate. That kind of money every single month is significant. So taking the action step to move forward to get something like that cleaned up in your life can save you thousands and thousands of dollars in the future. So, we're going to be hearing from Corey as we go further into the show here, and it's something that you should consider doing if you have any kind of credit issues. And then also our local real estate expert, Liliana Mercedes from the Mercedes Group. And Liliana, I've had the pleasure of also working with, and she is somebody that I can honestly say is, she's a tough cookie. She fights so hard for her clients. Yeah. Pisses off everybody else, but awesome. She fights hard for her clients. So Liliana, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dino.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm really excited that you're here, and we can all be talking about some of this positive news to help people move forward.
Right. I'm excited to be here.
Well,
something I'm very passionate about.
Yes, you are.
Pissing people off.
You are very passionate. So we spoke to Debbie DeGroat earlier, and she gave us the 5 action steps, and let's just get down to the real deal with the experts here and start asking these questions. So let's start with what has happened in the past years that have taken people off track, that they feel like they can't recuperate in some cases. So the first question, what is it that people value in their life, and what do they use as a barometer to decide whether they are successful? Corey, let's start with you.
I think that shifted. I think that people have, after this catastrophic last 5 years that people have experienced, I think that what they value now is their family, their friendships, and the relationships they built with people. And prior to that, it was how much cash they had in the bank.
Yep.
And so I would look to, number one, how are the relationships for people going? Like this show has extraordinary contacts and relationships that you build. That would be the first thing. Second, I think it would be the ease in which they can afford life, right? Mm-hmm. They're not pushing as much as they were, 7, 8 years ago. It's like, let's get my basis and my foundation handled. That's the first thing, first 2 points.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, one of the things I've seen that has happened a lot too is people's belief in God has increased significantly. I've seen so many people all of a sudden, turn and start searching for something because they feel like whatever it was that was going on wasn't quite working.
Right.
So Liliana, what about you and your clients? What do you see? Like how do people measure their success now? Are they looking at all the baseboards and like they got to have the 6-inch baseboard, or is it not as big of a deal anymore? Do they, do they just want to have a home for their family?
Absolutely. I think that there still is that passion. We all have learned from, what happened in 2008 to now. I think we all have been affected. Mm-hmm. But as things have been progressing, prices have been more affordable, and rates have been phenomenal.
Sure.
Those coupled together have enabled for people to have hope again in the dream of home ownership. And so I see it on the front lines because I'm with clients day in and day out, and you see their hope being rebuilt. And again, having that, with God and all, it's where, you're finding a better balance.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's coming through because at the end of the day, we all need a place to live.
Yep.
We might as well invest in where we're going to live.
Yeah, for sure. Debbie gave us the first action step, and it was do an honest assessment of your financial situation. And do you find that people are actually budgeting and saying this is what we can afford and really setting things up the right way? Or are they just saying, that's the house I want, we'll figure out how to make it happen? Because I know, being in the lending business, that's what was happening before. People were not thinking about consequences or overall budgets. They were just saying, that's the house I want, let's do it.
It's interesting that you share that because I have a meeting with someone later on this evening, and it's about establishing a relationship with the client that you've actually helped them not only in home ownership, but you actually help them in other areas like with budgeting to be able to have a well-rounded ability of a sense of what they can truly afford.
Yeah.
So I offer that as a side service, not to help them be more at ease.
Right.
With what the decision that they're making. They're making their largest purchase.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And what about financial stability? is it as simple as if you can get a loan, you qualify, or and either one of you guys can jump in here, or do you need to, do you think people should look at how stable they are in their finances before they make these big decisions?
Oh, certainly stability is something that any couple or individual should be able to look at. Can I afford it long term? How's my employment? What do my assets look like? Are they going to slip away at some time in the future? These are critical things that in the past a lot of people didn't look at. With some of the old stated products, people would get financed for $1 million based on a signature.
Yep.
And let's figure it out later.
Yeah.
That I don't see is going on. Those types of products
are some
bad.
gardeners that qualified for anything. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we need a break for commercial real quick, but you're listening to Money Matters with Dino, and we have a really great topic this week. If you have any questions at all, just call us at 949-720-1616. That's 949-720-1616. And remember, if I don't pick up the phone, because this is my personal number, I will get back to you. Make sure you leave a message. We'll be right back after the break.
50 years ago, you didn't have any worries. You danced the night away. But the music slowed down. And now you have financial worries and woes you never thought you would be faced with in retirement.
I'm so afraid that my husband and I aren't going to be able to afford to live in our home.
Thousands of people have chosen to put a spring in their financial step by taking advantage of a government-insured reverse mortgage loan that turns the equity in your home into tax-free cash. You can use the cash for whatever you want. Pay off medical bills, credit cards, travel, and start to enjoy your retirement. Best of all, you still own your own home. Call now. Find out how you can qualify for a life without monthly mortgage payments. Call now, and we will send you a free DVD that will explain if a reverse mortgage is right for you. Call the number on your screen right now. No obligation, just education.
Mortgage professionals, are you looking for a company that values you as a loan officer? One that can provide you with the tools you need to grow your business at your pace? Then look no further than CHL Mortgage. CHL Mortgage provides you with a full range of residential loan products and services. You'll be backed by an exceptionally trained team of professionals that can take your clients as seriously as you do. Your clients will be treated with dedicated service, personal integrity, and exceptional professionalism. You'll be able to guide them in the right loan with competitive rates and keep them on the road to achieving life's goals. To get started on advancing your career, call Dino with CHL Mortgage at 949-720-1616. That's CHL Mortgage, 949-720-1616.
Welcome back to Money Matters with Dino. We have an exciting topic here today. It's called the 5 Steps to Reactivating Your Life. And with us, we have credit repair specialist Corey Goldstein and real estate expert Liliana Mercedes. And earlier we had Debbie DeGroat, who's a personal coach with Excellium, and she gave us the 5 action steps, which I thought were just so exciting. The first one, as we already talked about, is do an honest assessment of your financial situation. And this is where you got to just be honest with yourself. How much money do I owe? How much are my monthly payments? How much do I make? What do I have left over? And how am I going to survive off that? And you know what? Unlike the government, you don't have a choice. If you don't make enough, you got to start cutting somewhere. You got to make some big decisions in order to get yourself ahead again. One of them is credit repair, and that's why Corey's here. So simple little things, for example, you might qualify for a 25% interest rate. But if you have a better credit score, you might qualify for a 5% interest rate. That alone will save you some money. So as one of our past guests said, pull the head out of the sand. I think he said something else, but I'm going to say pull your head out of the sand and start working on some of these situations. All right, Liliana, let's start with you. I got a question here. People got so beat up over the last 5 years, and owning a home was always such a milestone. Are people still so beaten up that they're scared to come back in? Or do you feel like they're kind of over that and, you know, the damage is kind of gone and now they're ready to jump back into the market again?
I believe the confidence is definitely building. I think it shared obviously with the interest rates being as good as they are, the lending guidelines loosening up to where they can, you know, actually buy after, you know, 3 years of a BK or short sale.
Which by the way, they've tightened in some ways, but they have loosened. And now you can even buy 1 day out of.
Right.
But again,
exactly.
It's the difference of having A+ interest rates or, you know, CD type thing.
And so educating the clients, past clients, and anybody that you have as a prospect of what is available to them, the confidence continues to grow.
Right.
And again, prices are so affordable still today that in itself, the tax write-off that they can get by owning a home.
Yep.
And just pride of ownership.
Yeah.
Being able to be a part of that dream of, you know, being able to invest in your own home.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Pride of ownership is sometimes forgotten of how much that does for you as an individual and as a family.
Right.
It really does mean something. Corey, I tie creditworthiness into financial stability a lot, and for things we've already spoken about here today. What do you find are the biggest reasons that people have trouble with, you know, with their credit scores? What are causing some of these credit scores to be so low?
Well, it's a combination of things from the past and things that are going on right now. So speaking to the things going on right now, one of the biggest things we like to look at is what is the high credit limit as it compares to the overall debt of a card. For example, if you have an American Express card that has a $5,000 high credit limit and you owe $5,200 on it, it's going to be at 102% or so of the total amount of the debt, which ultimately doesn't reflect well at all.
Right.
So one of the simplest ways that somebody can get an increased credit score, oftentimes of 20, 30, 40 points within a very short period of time, is to pay that down. And to pay that down consistent with FICO rules, which would be probably somewhere in the nature of 20% of that high credit limit. So what we would advise, and we would advise that for no fee, would be, Mr. Client, take that $5,000 credit card, and if you can write a check for $4,000 to pay it off, do that. That may be the very one action item that'll bring your scores up. Items from the past could be items that kind of slip through the cracks. What I've been seeing a great deal recently are hospital bills. Medical bills are slipping through the cracks at an alarming rate. Hospitals are literally, I was in the hospital several months ago, and before a month went by, I already got a letter of collection.
No kidding.
Unbelievable. They're going right to collection, one bill from the hospital, right to collection. And this is a key issue. You got to really watch your medical bills. So medical bills you want to take a look at. Those would be in the derogatory section of a credit report. The other thing I would take a look at, which are impacting scores, are, of course, late payments. Those will always impact your credit scores. And how it works is the most recent lates impact your scores the most.
Sure.
So something from 2010 won't impact your score like something from, October of 2013.
So how are credit scores calculated? I know you're going to tell me it's probably the best kept secret since Coca-Cola.
Yeah, indeed they really are. And what I can tell you in a simplest way is that the FICO model was built to really measure one thing, the probability of somebody filing bankruptcy. So the higher the credit score, the lower the probability of filing bankruptcy. The lower the credit score, the higher the probability. And what I've seen is people with a credit score of 520 and below have an 8 times higher probability of filing bankruptcy than the other way around, somebody in excess of 520.
You know what kills me is you're right, and that's probabilities because you're either not paying your bills or whatever the situation is, but you also get penalized so heavily for having a score like that you're set up for failure.
Absolutely.
If they just denied you and said you cannot get a credit card, you cannot get a car, you cannot get anything, maybe you'll be okay, right? Because you can't spend, right? You got to have the cash to spend it. But when you have a 520 credit score and then they give you a 40% interest rate, or let's say they give you something like a 25, right? So you get all excited because you got a 25, but then they have a $20 a month charge on this, another $35 fee for that. And in essence, it probably works out to be more like a 60 or 70% interest rate by the time it's all said and done.
Exactly.
You're set up for failure. I mean, how can you succeed?
It's a really great question. Having a full assessment, really having a powerful understanding of what's on your credit report, understanding what's on there, and going to, freeannualreport.com, pulling a copy of your credit report, looking at it, understanding it. As a matter of fact, I can offer your listeners a little key that will help people understand how to read their credit report. And if you want, you can post it on Facebook.
Is it free?
It's free.
Okay, then tell us about it.
Well, it's really it's a cool thing because these darn credit reports are written for a freaking analyst to figure out how to have these things work, and they're so complicated and difficult to read. This key that I've created demystifies everything.
Really?
Yeah, you can look at it and say, "Oh, this is what this means. This is what an R6 means. This is what this thing means." So you gain power and clarity and understanding, and that's the thing that we're talking about, is having understanding of where you actually sit right now.
Okay, so if you're listening right now and you want to get a copy of this, go to our Facebook page. It's just Facebook. Get on Facebook, facebook.com, and type in Money Matters with Dino. And Corey, what is it that you'll post something on there for us? What's it actually called?
We'll name it the Money Matters with Dino credit report. Something or other. That's a perfect name.
I love it. All right, but
Look for the something or other.
I'm gonna dangle the carrot. I'm not gonna send it to you unless you like the page. So get on Money Matters with Dino on Facebook, like the page, and then go ahead and shoot me a message, a private message, or whatever you can. I guess however you can set that up, and then we'll email you a copy right away.
Brilliant.
Okay,
to really help people.
All right. So what do you do to get people, like all the clients I've sent you, what do you do to get their credit scores up? I mean, you said that you look at their credit card balances, but what if they don't have the money to pay it down? What are some of the little tricks? Because I know you've done these little tricks. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say what they are. I don't even know what they are, but my gosh, they work.
They do work, and I'm all about full 100% disclosure.
Okay, good. Tell us the Victoria's Secrets story then.
Oh, okay, great. All right, so Victoria's Secrets was, I think it was the second show we talked about Victoria's Secrets. One of my clients had a 30-day late on their credit report.
Bad girl.
What I liked about it is she had a $5,000 credit limit on her Victoria's Secret card.
Good girl.
That's what I liked. And so, but she had a 30-day late payment that was recent on her credit report, and that was the very thing that was preventing her from getting financed. So Victoria's Secret, like when you call a creditor, they're not going to be really helpful. You're going to probably end up with a call center somewhere in India or Malaysia or Pakistan or wherever, and you're never going to be able to get anything done because those are the people that don't do anything for you. And so what we had was a relationship with the senior vice president of the organization that owns Victoria's Secret. And what was so great about it, a letter got written to their organization, and as a result, as an accommodation, they deleted the 30-day late off the credit report. Now, the impact of the removal of that 30-day late brought that client's credit scores up 78 points, literally in less than 3 days.
Wow, that's awesome.
So people can do this themselves, and they need to prepare themselves before they call a credit agency and ask different sets of questions.
We're going to break here in just a second, but before we do, I want to remind you, you're listening to Money Matters with Dino, and we have some really just rich content here that we're talking about today. And if you want to take advantage of some of the free advice that our experts have, call us at 949-720-1616. That's 949-720-1616. And also, we have a new service that we're doing here, and it's absolutely free. If you want to find out the value of your home, all you have to do is text the word appraisal and your address to 313131. All you have to do is text the word appraisal. So just type in appraisal, space, your address, and then send it off to 313131. And I'm going to have one of my trusted advisors get back to you within a 24-hour or so period, okay? We'll be right back after the break.